Welcome to Inside the Mavs, presented by Aura. My name is Kevin Gray, Mavericks pre- and post-game host on the Dallas Mavericks Radio Network on 97.1 The Freak. Appreciate you joining me here for the latest mini-sode of Inside the Mavs. You can like and comment on this video and subscribe to Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube, and you can download the Inside the Mavs podcast wherever you get your podcast for free. Give it a 5-star rating and write a review for it while you're there. You can follow me on Twitter at Kevin Gray Sports. Mavericks get the 113-107 win over the San Antonio Spurs. Mavericks now 40-29 on the season after 69 games as they were able to contain Victor Wembanyama, and now the Mavericks 19-14 away from the American Airlines Center, remain in 7th in the West as the Sacramento Kings are still in 6th as they hold the tiebreaker currently over the Dallas Mavericks, but they are now a half game ahead of the Phoenix Suns, who sit there in 8th behind the Mavericks, as Dallas now gets to a season high 11 games above 500, being powered by their superstars and Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Luka Doncic getting his 18th triple-double of the season, setting a new franchise record. Meanwhile, Kyrie Irving was spectacular once again in this game after, of course, the epic buzzer beater that he hit against the Denver Nuggets on Sunday, was able to back it up on Tuesday night with another great performance. And Dante Exum down the stretch, him and Kyrie Irving combining for 18 fourth quarter points as the Mavericks used a 13-6 run in the final 3 minutes and 46 seconds of the fourth quarter to win the game by 6. And Exum finishing a perfect 4-4 from downtown with 16 points was absolutely sensational throughout the course of the game, in a game where the Mavericks, look, I had tweeted out at Kevin Gray Sports that said the Mavericks better come ready to play against Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. Well, yes, coming into the game, the Spurs had the worst record in the Western Conference at 15-53. This is a team that, as of the last 9 games, has been playing much better, including coming off an overtime win over the Brooklyn Nets on Sunday, and they've been competing and playing hard all season. And a team that, once it finds itself getting some more talent, is going to be a team to be reckoned with. And you saw throughout the course of that game, the Spurs weren't going to necessarily just give this game away against Dallas. The Mavericks were able to have an 8-point lead after the first quarter, with Kyrie Irving scoring 8 points in the quarter. Mavericks having 11 assists on the 15 made field goals that they made. And one of the things that they were able to do throughout the course of the game is to be able to take advantage of the San Antonio Spurs, especially when Victor Wembanyama was not in the game, and getting into the paint. The Mavericks scoring another 52 points in the paint, and you saw time and time again easy buckets for the likes of Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively. Even your man Kyrie Irving having a backdoor cut and a nice dunk in the game as well, catching Victor Wembanyama sleeping. But the Mavericks made a concerted effort to get into the paint early and often, especially when Wembanyama is not in the game. Of course, a guy that's averaging 3.5 blocks per game is going to be the rookie of the year, probably unanimous rookie of the year, and is in the running for the defensive player of the year as well. The Mavericks did a good job of making sure that they were neutralizing him, especially on the offensive end, and he was really never get to in the kind of rhythm throughout the course of the basketball game. So the Mavericks, who shot nearly 63% from the field in the first quarter, Kyrie Irving helping the Mavericks go on an 8-4 run to end that first quarter, including, guess what, a buzzer beater at the end of the first quarter to be able to help the Mavericks get out to that 8-point lead. Daniel Gafford with a beautiful outlet pass to Kyrie Irving in transition off a defensive board that gave the Mavericks at that point their biggest lead of the game at 8 points, as they led 38-30 at the end of the first quarter. But as I mentioned, San Antonio was game and got themselves back into this game. In fact, they started that second quarter on a 10-3 run of the first 3 minutes to cut the lead to 1, eventually taking a 2-point lead after a couple of Victor Wembanyama free throws that had him up 47-45 with just over 7 minutes left in that second quarter. But then the Mavericks really turned it up, especially on the defensive end, They went on a 20-5 run, did the Mavericks, to eventually take what was a 13-point lead with just under 2 minutes left in that second quarter. The Spurs were able to score the final 4 points of that second quarter to cut the lead to 9 going into halftime. But Luka and Kyrie, once again, Luka, who struggled with the shot all night. In fact, Luka in the game, of course, only going 6 of 27 from the field and 2 of 11 from downtown, got help from his superstar teammate and Kyrie Irving as they combined for 11 of the Mavericks' 27 points in that second quarter, to where they were up by 9 at halftime. Let's take a quick break here on Inside the Mavs, here on our Inside the Mavs mini-sode. Let's hear from our sponsor of today's video, and let's hear from Aura. Today's video is brought to you by Aura. Do a Google search on your name and email address to see how much information comes up about you. I was devastated by the amount of information that I could be seeing searching my name and profile, and I knew then I needed to be protected for not just myself, but also for my family. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, your relatives, it's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use this information to help them access my social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. Aura also does so much more to protect me and my family from online threats that I can't see. It's really easy to set up, so I don't have to download several different apps to get things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more. I get everything at one affordable price. You may already have one of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing the hard work to protect me and my family so I can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to aura.com/Kevin Gray to start your 2-week free trial. Please see the link in the description. Back here on Inside the Mavs, here on Kevin Gray Sports on YouTube. Appreciate you hanging out with us through that quick break and hearing from today's sponsor of our video in Aura. As we were mentioning, the Mavericks went on a 20-5 run to get to a 13-point lead in that second quarter. The Spurs were able to cut the lead to 9 going into the second half. But again, it was Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic with a series of beautiful no-look pass to Dante Exum for a 3-point shot. Luka Doncic finding Daniel Gafford for a dunk on the alley-oop, throwing another gorgeous pass to him. Luka Doncic continuing when shots weren't following, finding ways to help this Mavericks team win this game. And you saw it through the outset of the game between the Mavericks and the Spurs. Luka Doncic simply didn't have it in terms of his jump shot, just simply off. And it's rare for Luka to be as off as he was in the game. But this is why he's one of the 5 best players in the league, finding other ways to help his team win games. And when his shot wasn't falling, all the attention is still going to be commanded on Luka Doncic, which means his teammates, and Dante Exum was a huge beneficiary of that, are going to have wide open opportunities, whether it be in pick and roll situations, as long as they're continuing to move toward the basket, or in Dante Exum's case, going to be able to knock down wide open 3-pointers, and he did so at a perfect clip in this game. But those are the reasons why, if you're going to be a teammate of Luka Doncic, you've got to always stay ready, because it will possibly be your night. And that's one thing that the Mavericks tried to find and continue to try to find throughout the course of this season, is who will be that third guy on a night-to-night basis to really be able to provide some scoring punch for them. You've seen P.J. Washington at times be able to do it. He was able to knock down the 3-pointer from a corner that really helped the Mavericks early on in this game. But more so for him, P.J. Washington needs to attack the rim a little bit more to get some confidence as he continues to work on his shot. One of the things that we learned during the broadcast is that the Mavericks are working with P.J. Washington to help him unlearn some things when it comes to his jump shot, wanting him to shoot more in rhythm instead of catching, gathering, and then shooting, but catching and shooting in rhythm to be able to help him get some more consistency with that 3-point shot, which they're going to need as the rest of this season goes on. But Luka Doncic's passing was spectacular, I thought, in the first half and throughout the course of this game. But again, the Mavericks attacking the San Antonio Spurs when Victor Wembanyama was out of the lineup, and you saw that throughout the course of the game. And obviously going into the second half, Mavs up by 9 to begin the second half, but the Spurs, again, competitive, scrappy team, used an 11-2 run in the beginning of that third quarter to get back in the game and to tie the game. As the Mavericks started just 1 of 7 from the field, they were able to regain a lead. As I mentioned, PJ Washington knocking down a three-pointer, as the Mavericks only had 9 points for the first 8 minutes of that third quarter. Eventually, though, the Mavericks were able to close that third quarter on a 10-3 run, again spearheaded by Kyrie Irving and, more importantly, Luka Doncic, who knocked down a three-pointer to increase the lead to 7 with 2 seconds left in that third quarter. Derek Lively was able to get a nice little Euro step on Victor Wembanyama. Tim Hardaway Jr. knocking down a three-pointer. And yes, Dante Exum again knocking down a three as well as part of that 10-3 run that really helped open things back up for the Mavericks going into the fourth quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, again, Spurs hanging around in this game. They went on an 11-2 run to eventually take a 2-point lead at 95-93 with just under 7 minutes left in the game. But the Mavericks were able to use a 6-0 run that they were down by 1 with just over 4 minutes left in that fourth quarter to be able to take a 106-101 lead, and they never looked back from there. And it was Kyrie Irving who had the go-ahead basket with just 3 minutes and 46 seconds left that allowed the Mavericks to close that game, as I mentioned, with a terrific run to end it, a 13-6 run to close the game to be able to win it. So Kyrie Irving and Dante Exum combining for 18 points in that fourth quarter. Dante Exum hit the dagger three with 36 seconds left to make it 109-103, and the Mavericks were able to, of course, go on to win the game. But Kyrie Irving stopped the 11-2 run early in midway through the fourth quarter. He was able to hit the big shot to hit the go-ahead shot for them to where they didn't look back from there. And then Dante Exum continuing to knock down shots. And you saw how the Mavericks closed once again with PJ Washington, Maxi Kleber as the small ball 5. They feel like they have a lot of versatility and flexibility on the defensive end. And I thought Washington did a really good job bringing some physicality to Victor Wembanyama, and he was bothered throughout the course of the game. Wemby only finishing the game just 3 of 13 from the field with the 12 points. Trey Jones was the leading man for San Antonio with 22. So a collective effort in a game where the Mavericks kind of slogged through some things as the game went on, but they continue to stay active. Guys continue to make cuts to be able to find some easy baskets at the rim. But it was Kyrie Irving and his 28 points. Luka Doncic, as I mentioned, with his 18th triple-double of the season, 18 points, 16 assists, 10 rebounds, was absolutely sensational, had 11 assists in the first half alone. These are the kinds of wins that the Mavericks are starting to get, especially when they're not shooting well from three. So they went 10 of 29 from downtown, just 34.5% from three, but they are finding ways to win games, and they continue to beat up on teams that are under 500. They also move now to 20-8 in the clutch this year, the best record in the NBA in terms of winning in the clutch this season. So they're continuing to win with poise. They're able to win games under pressure. And in this game, they took out a competitive San Antonio Spurs team. And more importantly, they handled their business the way that they needed to as they continue to try and climb up the Western Conference standings. Because as we look at the final 13 games of this season, they've got a couple of games left against Sacramento, still a couple of games left against the Golden State Warriors, but they have the second easiest opponent percentage in terms of who they're going to be playing down the stretch. Their opponent win percentage is under 500 in the final 13 games of the season. So this is a golden opportunity for the Mavericks to make up some ground and continue to stack up wins. And now with their 40th win of the season, are in prime position as they get ready to play Utah on Thursday before they head out for their 5-game road trip to continue to get these wins. And those 2 games against Sacramento are going to be pivotal, and we know that, but they had to handle business against San Antonio, and they did a lot of good things. And give credit Number one to Kyrie Irving, who is playing, of course, through Ramadan as he continues to observe that as he plays and is able to make the kinds of plays and, more importantly, be the leader on this team alongside Luka Doncic, making the necessary plays that he needs to, winning basketball plays to continue to help the Mavericks move up, hopefully, in the Western Conference standings as the rest of the season goes on. But he is providing the leadership needed for this team that they are looking for from both of their superstars in Luka and Kyrie. And more importantly, Dante Exum, the 16 points that he had, 4-4 from downtown, timely shot making. We know that he's been really good for them in terms of the defense, and he was a big help in this game as they needed the timely shot making, especially from three, as he was able to, along with Kyrie Irving, to be able to help get it done in the fourth quarter. Luka, Kyrie, and Exum combined for all 22 of the Mavericks' fourth quarter points, and Exum was a major reason why the Mavericks were able to win this game with his basketball IQ, making the winning plays. But as I mentioned, knocking down shots exactly when the Mavericks needed to, and you found the way to win a game. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, as Luka combined, got his 16th assist of the game, finding Kyrie Irving for a finger roll at the rim. Part of, as I mentioned, that 13-6 run to close the game, where both teams were overcoming double-digit, leads by the other to be able to get back into the game. It was a fun, entertaining game, but most importantly, the Mavericks found a way to win. That's all that matters going forward. So now the Mavericks get the day off on Wednesday. They get back on the floor on Thursday at the American Airlines Center against the Utah Jazz and look to continue to build on the momentum that they have been building based off of the fact that they were able to beat the Denver Nuggets with that incredible buzzer beater from Kyrie Irving, and now backing it up with another win over the San Antonio Spurs. We'll see how the Mavericks fare against Utah on Thursday. But a really nice win for the Mavericks. They're now a season high 11 games above 500 at 40-29, 19 and now 14, 19 and 14 away from the American Airlines Center. A good win against a game Spurs team that they had to have. Got to continue to stack wins for the rest of the season. That'll do it for this mini-sode of Inside the Mavs. Again, appreciate you joining me here on Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube. Make sure you like and comment on the video and subscribe to Inside the Mavs wherever you get your podcast for free. Give it a 5-star rating and write a review for it while you're there. And you can follow me on Twitter at Kevin Gray Sports. Join me on the next episode on Wednesday as Tim Cato of The Athletic going to be joining me on the next episode of Inside the Mavs, next full episode of Inside the Mavs. Tim Cato of The Athletic, covering all things for the Dallas Mavericks, going to be joining me here. You do not want to miss that episode. My name is Kevin Gray, Mavericks pre- and post-game host on 97.1 The Freak, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.